Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always. And as always, we're coming to you from our outstanding studios that First Star Logistics has given us. And man, we're blessed. This is as good as it gets. We're humbled by it, to say the least. Thank you, First Star Logistics, for making our lives easier. How about the Cincinnati Bengals, man? That first win was elusive. There's no question about it. But they got it. And a 10-point win on the road in the National Football League is something you don't sneeze at. But it wasn't easy. The Cincinnati Bengals won the coin toss for the first time this year. They had not won the coin toss in their first 3 weeks. And they deferred. And you're thinking, oh, man, was that a good decision? Because the first drive of the game, Carolina is rolling down the football field. They go on a 12-play, 69-yard drive, but they come up short. I mean, first and goal at the 2-yard line. Hubbard, 1-yard gain. Second in goal from the 1. Incomplete pass. Hill makes the play in coverage. 3rd and 1. Hubbard, right tackle, no gain. 4th and 1. And this is the 1-foot line now. This is the 1-yard line, the 1-foot line. Hubbard, left guard, no gain. I mean, an unbelievable goal line stand, a 4th down stop, like a turnover at the half-yard line, at the 1-foot line. That changed the tone and tempo of the football game. Joe Burrow said it after the game. And the Cincinnati Bengals take off from there and never trail in this football game, and they win by 2 scores. So that was huge, obviously. I thought the offensive line had their best game of the season, maybe one of the best games they've ever had under Frank Pollock. I thought Mims stepped up. Going against a guy like Clowney, you know, got a pressure on him. It happens against a player of that caliber. No sacks allowed by the Cincinnati Bengals at all, though, up front as an offensive line. And I will tell you, Mims, after the football game, he was one of the guys I talked to in the locker room. He was smiling from earlobe to earlobe. I mean, you couldn't wipe the smile off his face. This dude loves football. He loves his teammates. And he was happy. He was so excited. He was so excited about playing in that first NFL game. And his first NFL game is a win on the road. Not an easy thing to accomplish in the National Football League. And you'll always take it. But Mims is going to get better and better and better. But a very clean football game. Neither team gave up a quarterback sack. Now, the quarterbacks, they had to create and extend a little bit and step up and manipulate the pocket. Joe Burrow was Houdini on one play and throws a 21-yard completion that bailed the Bengals out when he hit Moss on that play of over 20 yards. But again, both teams ran the football. Good news for the Cincinnati Bengals: 141 yards on 31 carries, 4.5 per. But the Panthers, 155 on 29 carries, 5.3. The Bengals in the first half, they only had 11 yards on 6 carries. In the second half, though, 25 carries, 130 yards, averaging well over 5 yards a carry, like 5.2. And when the game was on the line, it was great to see. They ran the ball like 8 times in a row at the end of the football game. And they wanted to basically run it down their throats, not have to throw it, kneel down, and let the clock expire. Because at that point, Carolina had expended timeouts. The 2-minute warning was over. They got a holding penalty that set them back, and it was too bad because on 3rd and 4 at the Carolina 31-yard line, hard count by Joe Burrow. Man, that voice inflection. He got Thurman to jump the nose tackle in 1st and 10. But then a couple of plays later, the holding made it a 2nd and 19, too tough a proposition to overcome. But Money Mack to the rescue. He kicks a field goal, puts them up 2 scores anyway, with very little time left in the football game. By the time Carolina gets it back after that, there's 1 minute and 14 seconds. Andy Dalton has no timeouts, nothing to work with there, and the game ends. But it was a very, very physical football game. The Cincinnati Bengals, though, unfortunately, 16 missed tackles again. I mean, man, that is problematic to say the least. They had 16 missed tackles against the Patriots, cut it in half against Kansas City, 8 missed tackles, then back up to 13 missed tackles against Washington, and then 18 more against Carolina. My goodness, that's or 16 more against Carolina. That's just that you can't have it. If you miss 16 tackles against the Baltimore Ravens with Henry and Jackson running the football, oh my gosh, it's going to be name that score. Going to have to figure out a way to get the tackling problem remedied. You're going to have to do it pronto. Chase Brown had 80 yards rushing on 15 carries. Moss had 51 yards on 15 carries. These two running backs combined the 30 rushes, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chase Brown has 2 touchdowns. You have big explosive play from Jamar Chase, that 63-yard touchdown, showing his power, his physicality, his explosiveness. He just pulled away from people. He has 3 catches for 85 yards. The thing that impressed me as much as that, though, is the way he blocked. I mean, Jamar Chase was a man on the perimeter. And even in tight formations, on one of Moss's touchdown runs, he's at the end of the line of scrimmage blocking like a tight end. I mean, he dug a safety down another time where I thought, boy, I don't know if he's got enough angle there to work with. Jamar Chase goes down inside and digs that safety out of there. It's like, wow, that's impressive stuff. You know, the 2 tight ends. I mean, Eric All, rookie tight end, big time. I mean, four targets, 4 receptions for 28 yards, and they were all, dirty work receptions. And you talk about a guy that in motion, knocking people around, kicking out defensive ends, hitting defensive tackles when he had to, working the outside with linebackers. I mean, he can do it all. He's a complete tight end. Drew Sample locked his tail off at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they got great production from those guys. And that, in my mind, with the way the offensive line performed, they're kind of extensions to that offensive line, and they stepped up, and they showed what they were all about. So the tip of the cap there all the way around. When you look at it, neither football team gave up a quarterback sack, like I mentioned. There was only 1 turnover each. Each quarterback had an interception. The Cincinnati Bengals, though, had 2 fourth-down stops. To me, that's 2 more takeaways. They were even Steven, the 1 interception apiece, but those 2 takeaways on 4th down, particularly that one at the 1-foot line. Are you kidding me? To go 12 plays, 69 yards, and not even get a point out of it was huge. Penalties. Neither team went crazy in that regard. The Bengals were penalized 5 times for 39 yards. The Panthers 6 times for 37. So they played a very, very clean football game. The thing that impressed me as much as anything in the first half, the Cincinnati Bengals only had the football for a little over 10 minutes. 10 minutes and 4 seconds, I believe it was. Yes, 10 minutes and 4 seconds. They scored 21 points in 10 minutes and 4 seconds. You talk about efficiency. You talk about taking full advantage every time you have the football. Now, one of those was an interception by Von Bell that gave them the short field. I mean, they're in the red zone to start that drive right there. And, of course, that was another scenario that was big in this football game. The Bengals go 3 for 3 in the red zone. That's going to win you football games. Carolina went 2 for 3. That difference in a 10-point game, that red zone touchdown differential became huge. And, of course, the one that they didn't get was that first drive at the 1-foot line. So, I mean, the Carolina Panthers in the first quarter played keep away. They really did. They limited the Bengals' opportunities, but the Bengals took full advantage of every single opportunity that they got in this football game. Andy Dalton, had a great game. He completed a high percentage of his passes, 2 touchdowns, interception, quarterback rating a little over 83. Joe Burrow, for the 3rd straight game, quarterback rating of over 100. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 22 for 31, 232 yards. Very efficient. Jamar Chase targeted 6 times, 3 catches for 85 yards. T. Higgins had 6 for 60 yards, distributed the football pretty darn well. 3 different players had a play of over 20 yards or more, including the 63-yard touchdown. Yosti had 1 catch on the day. He made it count, 29 yards. So a lot of good things occurred in this football game. But, man, defensively, hopefully start to get some bodies back, because the defensive line, the reason that Carolina ran for as many yards as they did, it wasn't that they were lining up wrong. It wasn't that they were hitting the wrong gaps. It wasn't that they were freelancing. They got moved. So the Baltimore Ravens, that's what their game is all about. They want to move you at the line of scrimmage, and they want their big boy, Henry, to hurt you. Let's talk about the upcoming game, because you have a division opponent at home, and the Baltimore Ravens are physical. You're going to have to tighten the chin straps, maybe put an extra one on, Make sure the mouthpiece fits very snugly because here they come. Henry, 80 rushes, 480 yards, 6 yards per rush, 87-yard touchdown. A fingernail wasn't laid on him against the Buffalo Bills. He's rushed for 5 touchdowns. I mean, that is crazy. In 4 football games, he's averaging 20 carries for 120 yards, right at 6 yards per. Lamar Jackson, 308 yards rushing out of the quarterback position, 7.5 yards per. He's rushed the ball 41 times, one more than half of what Henry's run the ball. He scored 2 touchdowns. Those 2 guys are combined for the 7 rushing touchdowns. So 6 different receivers, though, have caught a football for 20 yards or more. So when you run the ball that effectively, play action pass gives you a lot of areas to throw the football. Man, and they're attacking every quadrant of the football field with as many different guys as they can. There's 5 touchdowns receiving by 5 different players. Again, they are doing a good job of attacking every quadrant of the football field. 4th down, the Baltimore Ravens done a good job on 4th down. They've only allowed 1 conversion and 3 opportunities. So they have 2 additional takeaways as well. They got 4 takeaways on the season, only 3 giveaways. They're +1 in the turnover department. The Bengals are even Steven. They have 4 takes, 4 gives, but those 2 red zone, 2 4th down stops, I think, give them another +2 there. And Baltimore is plus in the 4th down stop department as well. So it gives them a +2. I'll tell you what, it's this Baltimore Ravens football team is going to be physical. They're going to run it, and they're going to play smash mouth defense against you. They have Pro Bowlers at every level, every single level defensively, at the defensive line, at the linebacker position, and in the secondary. Pro Bowlers everywhere. Offensively, same thing. Pro Bowlers everywhere. Their center made the Pro Bowl in his 2nd year, Lindbaum, and they've got a Pro Bowl quarterback. They have a 2-time MVP quarterback. They have a multiple Pro Bowl running back in Derrick Henry. In the receiving group, they've got a Pro Bowl tight end in Mark Andrews. They also have a Pro Bowl kicker, Justin Tucker, over 90% accuracy for his career, might be the best ever. This football team is stacked, and John Harbaugh is a hell of a football coach. So it's going to be a challenge to take on the Baltimore Ravens here in Cincinnati. First division game, first division opportunity. Have not won a home game yet. Would like to get it done against the division rival, Baltimore Ravens. It's going to take a supreme effort in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams, to get a victory against the Baltimore Ravens. Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team. Opportunity knocking.